So it's 2022, new year, feeling positive. It feels like a good round number, and we've achieved a lot over the winter. We started by moving into the remainder of the shed. There'd been a wooden pilot gig being built, which was completed, and they moved that out, and we've moved into that space, building storage and a mezzanine for Josh to work on, to have his own workbench space. Underneath we built an office, so I can get a little bit more organised with the new work coming in. And while we had some good space before filling it with boats, I took the opportunity to build an oak frame for a barn conversion, a little side job coming up. And then once that was finished, we brought Panacea into the workshop. She's in for some seasonal maintenance work. Just recently, we've moved Constance in the workshop so that we could get Alva, my first large boat build, back into the shed, also needing some maintenance work over winter. I mean, just under the deck, you can access and stuff. This is really quite spacious, isn't it? So you can quite easily get under and like attach something to the end. Obviously, ongoing throughout that, Constance has been having the finishing work done, including her navigation systems, the electronics, and all the electrical systems as well, batteries. The chart table has been being completed. Half inches to the other side of this. Well, that's really exciting. So Constance is very nearly finished. In March she'll be coming out of the shed. Her mast will be put in. John Albrecht, who's a time-served traditional rigger, will be putting her standing rigging and running rigging up. And then we have sails coming from Ratsey and Lapthorn that will be fitted, and then she'll be good for launching. So that's really up to Simon when he thinks is a good time, but I'm anticipating sometime in April for the launch. James and Pete have been fitting out the interior of Constance. She features a double berth up forward in the forepeak. Then there's a bulkhead with a heads next to the mast, and opposite that a wood-burning stove to heat the cabin. Nice, big, spacious cabin, plenty of headroom. She's fitted out mostly with oak structure and some Douglas fir, with teak for the hatches and skylights. There's two settees and a pilot berth in the saloon, so she's potential overall to sleep 5 sailors. And there's a really generous sized chart table, nav station, and opposite that is a galley with a 2-burner stove, sink, and a fridge as well, with running hot and cold water.
See those cooker taps? Yeah, you get like sparkling, boiling, cold, hot, all from one tap. Yeah. Sparkling? Yeah. As in drinkable sparkling. Yeah. How fun does that work? It goes like a unit.
CO2 factory.
It's a nice interlude building the oak frame for the barn conversion, because it's perhaps the thing I most enjoy about woodworking is working with large timbers. So after all the fine detail and finishing work on Constance, it's quite a nice break to have a couple of weeks of working with heavy timbers and big chunky tools. So satisfying work. The reason I enjoy that is there's something really tangible happening every day. There's progress. It's all big and, you know, get stuck in there moving the timbers around, and at the end it's a very attractive structure as well. You really see the structure of a building when it's framed in oak. Likewise with the boats, that's perhaps my favourite part of building boats, is the hull and the planking. For that same reason, you're really seeing the structure of the boat come together. So it's been nice to move into this new space in the shed and be able to build a dedicated mezzanine and workbench space for Josh, who has been working around the yard and making makeshift workbenches when he's needed to. So now he has his own space to work from. And his first job at his workbench is a new spar for a Devon beach boat, a day sailing boat that a customer came and wanted, had a broken spar, so we've made a new one for him. Josh took the old spar and took all the measurements off it because it needed to be an exact replica, and he used some fine-grained old-growth Douglas fir for the spar, and oak for the cleats that the rigging attaches to. Josh has done a great job. It's satisfying work. I think it's been a nice way for him to organise his workbench and get used to being in that new space. The real joy of spar making firstly it's always really good quality wood, which works beautifully. So the long fibres in the wood mean that when you plane it, you get these lovely long shavings coming off. You're taking something from a square into a round, and round shapes you know, it's quite an art to get it just right and satisfying when you do. There's a beautiful smell to the wood as well. Douglas fir's got just a lovely resinous, clean smell that it takes you away to the forest when you're working it. So you can really zone out with these nice long actions and the sweet smell of the wood. I think everybody enjoys making spars. Well, we've had a visitor for a while in the winter. This Robin has been coming regularly into the workshop, and he's discovered that at 11 o'clock there's plenty of biscuit crumbs to be had, and maybe the odd bit of ham or cheese. So he's become a little friend and very welcome here. He's not shy at all, goes right into the depths of the workshop, but knows he's safe. Alva's had a busy year. I've really enjoyed sailing her at Falmouth Classics and over to the Scillies, and had some great adventures with my girls on the Cornish coast. But she's looking a little bit rough. So I've taken the mast down and brought her in the shed, and we're going to give her a lick of paint and varnish, bring her up to scratch, and maybe make a few little modifications just to make some improvements. Perhaps change the winch positions and some small modifications to the mast, to the rigging rather, and just some little tweaks that it's an ongoing thing with boats. I think the more time you spend with them, the more you appreciate how things could be improved, and it's an ongoing process. It's part of the joy of owning a wooden boat is really getting to know it and to change and grow with it as your experience and knowledge of how you sail it and the waters you sail in changes. Panacea has come back to us from her owner, and we've been looking after her and maintaining her over the winter, and he was wanting to put her up for sale, so we had a visit recently from a local guy who was wanting to find a boat for day sailing and weekending in local waters, and when he came and looked at her, he fell in love straight away, and he's decided to go for it and buy her. We're talking about what colour we can make her now, and she's got a couple of things to improve to make her how he wants, and then we'll get her on the water in end of April and he can enjoy it for the summer. In the tent, we have a nice 1970s motorboat, mahogany-hulled, very attractive Nordson Nereid. It's a British-built motorboat, sort of a take on the Reaver, but a little bit more affordable, but equally an attractive and fun boat with a lot of charm and character. And it's quite unusual for one of that age to be in a condition where it can be restored rather than completely rebuilt. So we've been patching her up and going to do a complete new revarnish with a two-pack hard-wearing varnish. So that's in process in the tent at the moment. James has been finding the soft spots in the stem and cutting out old damaged wood and replacing it with new, and doing some fairing to make the hull smoother, and strengthening areas which will be covered with new stainless steel work. We also have an ongoing project which is a Deben 4-tonner. The customer's, he's taking a longer term approach with this, so we're doing work as and when. But the most recent work has been stripping back the cabin sides ready for a new coat of varnish, and preparing to rebuild the bunks in the forepeak and install a new cooker. We've also built her a new mast. But yeah, that's ongoing work.